The connection is maybe the immigration, right? The Irish blood, English heart, but it's the Mexican blood, American heart.
I do have a love for him, like I have a love for an uncle that says rude things over Thanksgiving dinner, you know? Like, I love you, but I wish you wouldn't say certain things, but the love is always going to be there, you know?
I used to live in East LA, which is one of the biggest Mexican hoods in Los Angeles. And that's where it was brought to my attention that Mexicans love Morrissey. It's something I would hear a lot, and it was also the first time I saw a brown person wearing the St. George's Cross. Now I'm back in my old stomping grounds, and right next door in Boyle Heights is a Mexican bar where they have the Smiths and Morrissey Karaoke nights. I decided to talk to the locals and find out what exactly is it about Morrissey that they love so much, and how do they feel about his political views and other controversies.
You don't know a thing about their lives. Books don't save them, books on Stanley knives.
What is it about Morrissey that you think Mexicans love so much?
I think that it's like the outsider kind of vibe, because like a lot of Mexican Americans, especially second and third generation, they're not really from here, they're not really from there, so you kind of have like an outsider sensibility. I think his music it plays to that.
The reason they like him is because it allows them to get in touch with a part of themselves that they're usually not able to express. And so they can, sing his songs and move certain ways on the stage, close their eyes and really feel what he's saying and feel certain emotions. And I watch them as a Latino queer man myself. I watch them up on the stage, and I feel happy for them that they're able to finally express this through Morrissey's music.
I think it's the passion, the angst, the ballads, the romanticism about his music. It reminds us similar to the Mexican music that we're used to growing up, with the same accord, the passion. So all that mixed into one. Morrissey kind of embodies a lot of the I don't want to say Mexican tones, but the romanticism above all. The fall in love. And again, growing up as a teenager, you have that angst, and kind of blends in well with the Mexican culture.
Like, the Doc Martens, the Levi's, just a plain t-shirt or a collared shirt. His hairstyle is, he had a certain flair that we as Mexicans or Mexican Americans, we gravitate towards. We like cleanliness, we like to look good, we like to smell good. We're kind of drawn to sort of that James Dean 50s thing that a lot of people remember very well. And just poetry and just artistry, I think that's the big one. All the poetry and artistry, Oscar Wilde and the different things that he brings to the table. I mean, as a lyricist, I don't think he could ever be touched, So that's something that's very important in our community.
The Mexican men that I know who appreciate him like about him, his swagger, how he moves on stage, and I think it has to do with the fact that he doesn't talk about his sexuality. I've met some of the hardcore fans who have tattoos of him argue with me that he's not, queer or gay or anything like that. And to them, it's important, I guess.
I think it's a melancholy. I think people, in our culture tend to really appreciate feelings, although they might not show it because there's a huge machismo, presence. But I think that we're generally really happy people, and then we really embrace sort of the sadness. And I think that really speaks to our people, because even with Spanish music, like folk music, or some of the rancheros, you know, you'll have like Vicente Fernandez, who's, you know, sings a lot of sad songs that we embrace for whatever reason. And I feel like it's part of the culture it's okay to have sort of connection with your feelings, although you don't really talk about it in a sense.
Well, everyone's got their own theory as far as, you know, why we like them. I think maybe the original people who were listening to the Smiths and Morrissey in the 80s had their own reason. With me, it was more friends that were already established in the scene that kind of turned me on to his music. I had a friend who gave me a Boner Drag CD and the Queen is Dead CD. And once I listened to that, I knew that was it for me.
I mean, as far as what appealing to Latinos in Los Angeles, some things you just adopt, like you know, for bad or for worse, like for good or for bad, like the Dodgers. You know, there's just certain things and certain like institutions that you kind of adopt as part of your, I don't know, but belonging to a group, and Morrissey just happens to be one of them.
Yes, there is that Mexican thing, that Mexican tie or whatever. But no, the true uniqueness is here in LA. And I think that's why he feels so at home. And I think that's why he calls this his home now.
So the city of Los Angeles, the city council, on November 10th, and I forget what year it was, but I think it's been 5 years running, designated November 10th as Morrissey Day. Morrissey was here in LA accepting a certificate, and every year we celebrate that day as Morrissey Day.
And if a double-decker bus crashes into us, to die by your side is such a heavenly way.
There are a lot of Mexicans that, you know, listen to Morrissey and the Smiths here that have traveled to the UK to go see him tour, but especially to go see some of the places that he sings about.
Now that makes me wonder, Mexicans that live in the UK, what do they think of Morrissey? Do you like Morrissey?
Do I like Morrissey? What's that?
Morrissey? Why is Morrissey?
Morrissey is a singer from the band The Smiths.
Okay.
Morrissey has a huge Mexican following.
Oh, really?
Do you like Morrissey?
I don't know who Morrissey is.
Morrissey. Yeah, the Smiths. The Smiths vocal. I mean, I'm not a fan. I know who he is, and I enjoy some songs. Not particularly a fan.
Do you like Morrissey?
Yes. It's a tricky question nowadays, I guess.
I love the group when he started with the Smiths. I like the melancholy of the voice. I think he's a great singer. I don't share his political views.
Morrissey, yeah. Na 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 na.
He's the one who's like, I was looking for a job and then I found a job. No?
No.
Heaven knows I'm miserable.
No.
Yeah. No idea, sorry. I haven't got a clue.
Mexican Morrissey band.
I feel so bad. I don't know them.
In LA, California, it's like Chicanos love Morrissey.
Yeah, I know. No, I like the Smiths. I'm not a fan of Morrissey. I'm so sorry.
Whether or not I stand by views and things, well, I mean, of course, probably not, but that doesn't rob the fondness of the memories that I have.
The Smiths as a thing, yeah, but like, never been a fan of Morrissey. Like,
why is that?
I don't know. I don't. As a band, I really like the band and the lyrics, and as a person, Morrissey is just a very particular human, and you know, I understand artists, but like, I've never been a fan of him.
Well, I can appreciate the music, of course, and obviously I can despise his views about immigration. I like the Morrissey of when he wrote those songs and he was part of the Smiths, and obviously people change. I changed, he changed, and now we are in different parts of the universe. So, yeah.
Some people say they love the Smiths, but they don't like Morrissey because they find him to be very far right at times and problematic with immigration and stuff.
I get a sense of him, like, I mean, there's a lot of things I could say that are bad. That's gonna make, my friends are very much fans of him, and I think I respect that. I think his music walked them through the door in a lot of periods in their life, and I can get that. But there's certain things about him that I feel like, I don't feel that he particularly cares about my experience unless I put him at the middle of it. So I'm a fan of his music, and I love to sing his music with my friends. But for instance, I don't think I'd ever go pay to see a show. I don't think I don't like him beyond. I don't try to emulate him. I don't try to I don't run to where he is. I don't kneel at the altar of him. I just love his music because it's beautiful.
I feel that I'm also somewhere in the middle in there, because there are people where Morrissey can do no wrong. I know so many hardcore Mexican, Latino fans that no matter what comes out about Morrissey, they are diehard Morrissey. Sometimes I think, well, maybe it's too late because they already have 8 tattoos, so they can't suddenly turn their back on him. But I feel like maybe sometimes I do separate the art from the artist, and because his lyrics and his music are so much a part of me and my DNA. They're in my mind's landscape, as he would say. They're in my veins.
I don't think that he's a racist. I think he's entitled to certain opinions, and they may sound strong at the time, and then of course the media just cherry picks those lines, and then they'll run a line and then call him whatever they want to call him. But no, I will sit through his entire interview, and I know what he's saying.
It was Scotland, and it was February of 2018. I was already in the UK, and managed to get a ticket to go see him in Scotland. And as soon as he came on to stage, he said something about British or Scottish politics that I didn't quite understand. But as soon as he said it, people started booing him and giving him the worst. And I want to say more than a third, possibly half of the people left that were already there. Sure, people were outside still getting in, but they didn't hear what he said, so they stayed for the show. But the people that were there were quite upset with him. They were mostly Scottish people, and they ended up leaving.
I'm not going to stop listening to it because it's not an option, but I don't care for him. I've stopped going to the concerts. I no longer go. I guess I would go if somebody gave me a free ticket, but as far as supporting him, I think he does things more just to be a contrarian, to agitate people, to say, things that are going to get a reaction. And even if that means he doesn't really believe some of the things that he might argue about, I don't like that he's trying to agitate.
I can see that, but fortunately for me, I kind of tend to tune that out and focus on the music. He's a great musician, composer, lyricist, and for me personally, again, I kind of tune that out and kind of just focus on the music and what it says and what it means to me and how it makes me feel, more importantly.
I mean, I just tend to separate sort of the man from the artist. Everybody has their own personal views, and I really think that what makes us really sort of be that blended culture is the ability to appreciate somebody else's point of view, where it doesn't drive you to violence or it doesn't drive you to hate a certain person for their views. I think that, I keep that separate. I don't associate the two.
Maybe he does believe those things, and I'm trying hard not to think that an artist I care about so much is right-wing or is anti-immigrant. I think to myself, well, I mean, he did write a song called Mexico, and the things it says are beautiful, but I don't know, he knows where his bread is buttered, and so he is gonna walk a fine line in what he's going to say, but at the same time, he says whatever he wants, right? I mean, that's what gets him in trouble.
Some people say they love the Smiths, but they hate Morrissey because they find him to be quite problematic. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I hear that. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I love the music, so. I know Morrissey's quite the diva, though.
You know what?
How do you feel about him as a person?
Well, I've never actually met him. I did have an opportunity to almost touch his hand in Scotland when I went to go see him once there. But from everything that I've read and some of the comments that he's been quoted, seems to be very controversial. And I try to distance the music from the person, right? That being said, I kind of like the Smiths more than Morrissey. I still listen to Morrissey. I like Morrissey. It's kind of a love-hate relationship because he's canceled on me 3 times. So, you know, it's up to the individual as to how far you want to get into someone's point of views, politics. You know, worst thing you can do is find out that one of your idols doesn't believe everything that you believe.
My own personal thing with that is I do struggle with that a little bit, only because there has been times where he does kind of get a bad rap where maybe he'll have a concert and for whatever reason he doesn't come out and whatnot. So that's happened many a times. I think that comes from that a little bit. And then I think everybody who's anybody would love to see the Smiths reunite once again, although one member has passed. But everybody would love to see Johnny Marr and Morrissey take the stage again together one day.
To die by your side is such a heavenly way.
And you're in a band that does Morrissey cover songs?
Yeah, we do Morrissey cover songs. We also do some Smith stuff. We've been playing for a little bit here, and we have more gigs coming up, so we're excited about that. But yeah, we're huge on Morrissey. We're huge on the Smiths and other 80s bands as well.
And the name of your band is The Miserable Lads?
The Miserable Lads, yeah. Our little picture of us. My buddy's son drew it with his left hand, just to keep with Morrissey, right? Morrissey liked to sign his name with his left hand, so kind of fortuitous, right?
Los Angeles, you are too hot.
And you have a Morrissey Karaoke night. Can you speak on that?
Right. So actually down the street is a place called Eastside Love where they originated a Morrissey-oke. And I was introduced to that. That was the first time I ever sang karaoke. I'd never sang karaoke in my life. And I went to this bar and I really, really loved it because I got to meet a whole bunch of people that loved the Smiths and Morrissey. And that was awesome. They did it once a month and I think they recently stopped doing that. But we've been doing our event twice a month on Sundays. And it's a fun, easy Sunday. Come in at 3 o'clock, sing a couple songs, and then, you know, have a few drinks before you have to start work on Monday. And you're standing on our streets where Hector was the first in the gang with the gun in his hand, and the first to do time, the first of the gang to die. Such a silly boy. Hector was the first in the gang with the gun in his hand and the bullet in his gullet, and the first lost lad to go under the sod. Okay, I think I'm done.